So, fans are going to be allowed back in football stadia from the 2nd of December. Not all of them, by the way. Just a few, bit by bit. But it's a start, right? The 2nd of December in West Ham terms, in real terms, means Manchester United game at home. And a cut to the chase, now we're going to be allowed 2,000 fans in there. Why? Because London is going to be classified as Tier 2. If it had a better rate, a better infection rate, basically a more favourable infection rate, we could have had 4,000 there. But it's 2,000. That's it. But it is a start. And that's a good thing, right? You'd certainly think so. Because, let's face it, there are a lot of people who could do with getting out the house. Who could do with going to football, doing something different. Such as being, I think, the restriction of just your freedom of movement over recent months has been sort of unprecedented. And just to get out of the house is going to be a good thing. I resisted saying back to normality because I don't think it is going to be normality. I don't think this is going to be the trip to the football that you once remembered. If you go to the football, you're going to very much be going to just watch the football. You're highly unlikely to be going to the boozer to meet up with your mates or anything like that. You're going to go into the ground. You're going to be segregated. I guess you're going to be temperature checked before you go in. And I guess that's a sensible thing to do. You're going to wear a mask the whole time you're in there, as I understand it. And I guess it's going to be an odd atmosphere. There's only going to be 2,000 of you in there, 2,000 people with masks. It's not going to be very noisy, but it is a start, and we've got to start somewhere. And I'm not poo-pooing that at all. It's not for me, I've got to say. I think I would find it quite disappointing going in there and it being so different from I think what I love about the whole day out of going to football. So much of that would still be missing at this early stage, but hopefully that comes back in the future. But really, my point that I wanted to touch on was, how do the players feel about this? Now, they're going to make all the right noises. David Moyes only a couple of days ago was saying he was a little bit frustrated as fans couldn't see the improvement in the team. And I understand that, and I would expect David Moyes to say the right thing. David Moyes, of course, says that Mark Noble is an integral part of his plans, when I'm not sure he really is anymore, but he's going to say it because he's a nice guy. He says that Sebastian Haller is a top striker and all of these things, but I think we all know that as soon as he gets the chance, he's probably going to drop him and put Mikel Antonio back in there. He's said many nice things about many players, and then he drops them or doesn't include them in the team. So for him to say he wishes the fans were back, yeah, I think he sort of means it. I think he's saying the right thing. However, I do wonder how much the team has benefited from not having the fans there. Not just our team. The other day I was having a discussion with Gio about it, and he seemed to be under the impression that Tottenham were benefiting from no fans being there. Why? Well, it allows Jose Mourinho to play a sort of defensive dour, backs to the wall, park your bus brand of football, which he wouldn't get away with if the fans were there, because the fans would be saying, come on, get on with it, attack, do some more attacks. So it's working in his favour. I do get what he means. I do understand that. I just wonder if maybe at this point Tottenham fans, bearing in mind they might well be looking at a push for the title, might actually accept a little bit of negative and defensive football if it means they get a trophy, because they've not had one in quite a while. In terms of West Ham, I think there's a little bit there of that as well, for a number of different reasons for Tottenham. There have been a lot of West Ham fans going to the games that have not been happy for a long time. And you may have been happy for a number of different reasons. You may not be happy with a particular player on the pitch. You may be unhappy because of the move. You may not like the stadium itself. But it's not been a happy place to be. On occasions, we've had some good days out there, but by and large, it's not been overly successful as a transition. And I just wonder how much taking the fans away has benefited West Ham. And I don't think it's benefited us in the way that we might think. I don't think it's removed a raucous crowd that was getting on the team's back. I don't think that's what's happened, because I think in many respects large parts of the stadium are so far away from the pitch that I don't feel that we were overly vociferous and could impact the players anyway. I think it's more a misplaced pass. Oh, it's a moan, it's a groan, it's a collective sigh in the cavernous a London stadium. What I do think it's done, though, is it's given us a level playing field, because what it's done is it's brought everybody back down to our level, all the other teams. So we've just gone and played Sheffield United. And you've got to say that that was a massive hindrance to Sheffield United not having their fans there, because they are really, really noisy. It's one of the most raucous places to go. I've no doubt at all that Leeds would probably be doing a little bit better than they are were they to have that partisan, loud Elland Road crowd there. No doubt about it at all. So this is what I think it's done in terms of the crowd. I think it's brought everybody down to our level, because it has not been particularly loud at the London Stadium. We can all point to occasion, not the odd occasion when it has been loud, a chorus of bubbles, or an emphatic win, or the game against Brighton that was swinging back and forth, the game against Huddersfield, whatever. But it's not a particularly loud stadium most of the time. So realistically, our players have had to deal with fans being nowhere near for fans being in isolation for quite a while, and this is what everybody else is having to deal with. And I do wonder how much that has allowed certain players to flourish. Now, I'm not going to speculate which players there are. I think there are some players in the West Ham squad who probably do wish the fans were back, who probably thrive on an atmosphere. I'll mention one who's no longer playing because it's easy. James Collins. James Collins, I get the impression, wouldn't have liked playing in that sort of stadium. We know all about Ginge. Ginge is the type of player who would travel with the away fans and go and stand in there and watch an away game. We like that. But I do wonder who in the West Ham team at the moment, currently, who when they lose possession or they don't do something particularly good, aren't getting the moans and groans, aren't having the eyes of the fans upon them, and maybe, just maybe, they're flourishing more in the empty stadium. We often hear about some players who are good in training. You've heard it, many players all over the years. He's good in training, not so good when he gets into the game, because some players freeze, some players just can't play in front of a crowd. That's not just footballers either. There are actors, singers, whatever. You put them in front of a crowd, they freeze. I just wonder if it's allowed those training ground players to flourish. I don't know. I think it's going to be very, very interesting, and I think it's going to level the playing field. I think it has levelled the playing field a little bit, and I think some of that has played into our favour. I don't know. I'm open to being convinced, and we won't know. It's not actually an argument. We won't actually know until the teams go back and all the crowds are back in and all the stadiums are full. Then we will know if it's had an impact. Then we will know if it's played a part in West Ham, in West Ham's resurgence, let's say. I suspect it has played a small part. I suspect fitness, as I've said before, organisation, stability. I think they're all parts of our upturn in form, certainly. But I just find it quite interesting. I'm not sure everybody is delighted that the fans are coming back. That's all I'm saying. I know the club will be happy in as much of it's a first move, it's a start. But it's not really going to do an awful lot for the club coffers. They're still going to be making huge losses. 2,000 fans in there is it's not really going to make a massive impact or anything at all. In fact, it's probably a little bit of a hindrance in terms of catering and this, that, and the other. I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully, it works. Then the 2,000 becomes 4,000, becomes 6,000, becomes 10,000. We start to get back to a little bit of normality. I did want to touch on something else, by the way, which was sent in by Summercoat. His name is Summercoat. I'll pop the post up there. He says, this is almost worth a video of its own. Yeah, well, almost. So I'm sort of bolting it on the back of this one because there's a lot to discuss this week. He said, but compare this season's results with the 8 corresponding fixtures from last season, dropping the Fulham match because we didn't play them. Basically, we only played Fulham this season because they got promoted. So take Fulham out of the equation. So in the 1920 season, minus 16 goal difference. 2021 season, plus 4 goal difference. He said that's a 20 goal swing in just 8 matches. And therein lies a massive change. Why we have 11 points more than a big fat 0. I think this is excellent. I like this. So I've had a look. I've had a look at the corresponding fixtures last season. And we'll just go through them because last season, Actually, I've written it so big I might not even need my glasses. We'll see. We'll see if we can wing it. You'll probably tell me afterwards in the comments you got that one wrong. I haven't got it wrong. I'm just not wearing my glasses. Okay, so this time, West Ham 0, Newcastle 2. That was the first game. Well, you know what? Last season, corresponding fixture, it was an horrible game, by the way. Remember that one? Oh, I mean, it was 3-2 to Newcastle, so they beat us anyway. But it was horrible. They toyed with us like a cat with a mouse. A bit fast, like a fast cat with a very, very slow mouse. Put it that way. We've got Arsenal 2, West Ham 1 this season. Well, it was only one goal in it last season. It was 1-0 to Arsenal. So maybe the point doesn't quite stand up yet, but it's about to. Leicester 0, West Ham 3. Last season, Leicester beat us 4-1. Now I think we're starting getting into the home thing that I was just discussing, which is why I wanted to bolt this onto this video. No fans there at Leicester. I mean, we've gone there and just decimated them, really. To beat them 3-0 in their own stadium. Would that have happened with fans there? I don't know. But they beat us 4-1 last time. A massive improvement. Tottenham 3, West Ham 3. Who can forget it? Well, it was 2-0 last time to Tottenham. So, I mean, things are changing there, ever so slightly, aren't they? Home advantage again. It is interesting. That's another away game we've done well. This one's a home game. West Ham 1, Man City 1. Last season, do you remember it? It's the first game of the season. It was cataclysmic. They won 5-0, Manchester City. And do you know what? We actually expected them to win by 4 or 5. Now, if you were to go back and watch the preview, myself and Gio are predicting that sort of scoreline. Liverpool 2, West Ham 1. Well, last season it was 3-2, but I say last season, I'm not sure how reflective that is because, I think it was under David Moyes anyway, and also it was in a lockdown scenario. So we lost by a goal to Liverpool. Not a massive amount. And then you get to the one we've just had, which is Sheffield United 0, West Ham United 1. Last season, they beat us 1-0 at their stadium. It is a massive swing. You can absolutely see a difference there. The Wolves one, did I mention Wolves or did I go straight to Leicester? I can't remember. Wolves was 4-0. Last season, they beat us 2-0. I think I might have missed that one out. Excuse me. I just said Leicester, didn't I? The Sheffield United one is a massive one as well, because for all the reasons that I said, that's all. I just wonder how. I think there are some clubs that have benefited from the lockdown, from COVID football. And I don't think Sheffield United are one of them. They were pushing for European places before all this happened. I think it's really hard for a manager like Chris Wilder to cajole these players. Some of them have played in League One to try and get them to play football at a higher level when there's no encouragement around, there's no crowd around, that sort of thing. And I think we're seeing a little bit of it there, but just in terms of what Summercoat had said, which is that there's been a massive swing, it really is. And when I looked at the league table and I saw that we were in 8th, well, the one thing that really got my attention was the goal difference, which is really what he's alluding to. We were +5 goal difference. West Ham never, well, I don't mean never, but as a West Ham fan, it seems like we have always got minus goal difference. You'll know what I mean. It's always been us. Look, we might have it one season, we might have plus goal difference, then we'll do 5 with minus. That's just how it goes at West Ham. Maybe this is just the one, but it doesn't feel like it. This doesn't feel like a fluke at the moment for all the reasons I said in yesterday's video. We're nasty. We're fit. We're fighting fit, as so many of you said in the comments of the video. +5 goal difference. And you don't feel, touch wood, by the way, you don't feel that there's a team that's going to stick 4 or 5 past us. As somebody said in one of the things, and they were Aston Villa next, that will be a test. But as I said yesterday, you can't keep saying it. Well, I guess you can say what you want. But what was it? Was Man City the test? Was Liverpool the test? Fulham? Sheffield United? I guess now it is Aston Villa. After that, it will be Manchester United. And I know there are a few people in the comments saying they're not quite ready to believe yet. And I'm not really sitting here trying to convince you. I'm not convincing you, not trying to get anybody on the Moyes bandwagon or anything like it. I'm just pointing things out as I see them. And when I look at those stats, and when people post things like that, I think this is really impressive. Plus goal difference, very, very impressive. That being said, what is going to be impressive is if we can keep this up when there are 50,000 fans in the stadium.